أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. O Allah, we come before you once again, beg your help and protection. Guide us on the straight way. The way of those upon whom thou bestow grace and blessings, not the way of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down. We welcome you to another session on Conversations on Civilization. Our topic this week, our fourth, or is it our fifth topic? Fifth week, rather. The topic is Zakat. We want to wrap up now Zakat in its applications to human life. And we do this out of sincere desire to assist those believers, those communities of believers that are trying to get at the essence of Islam, which has 5 simple practices: the belief in one God, regular prayer, communication with your Lord, our Creator, who causes our hearts to beat, and regular zakat, salat and zakat. In Arabic, salat for prayer, zakat for the money, how we use the money that we give in the way of God for doing good. And we established that for it to be zakat, it has to be used for certain purposes, given for certain purposes, that is, out of the love of God, to do good in the world, and used for those purposes for it to be zakat. What are those purposes? They're stated very clearly in the Quran, Surah 2 Al-Baqarah, ayat 177, and I'll read it to you quickly so you'll know the roots. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. We seek refuge in you, O God, from the accursed enemy shaitan. Laisa al-birru an tuwallu wujuhakum qibla al-mashriq wal-maghrib. ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين. Okay? Who believe in Allah and the angels and the books brought by the prophets and the prophets themselves. Now here's the very specific point I wanted to make. وَآتَى, and that means then bring. وَآتَى الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى, and bring wealth, money. Wealth, out of love for God, hubbihi. For who? Dhawil kurba, that is the relative who's in distressful circumstances. Wal yatama, and the orphan. Wal masakin, and those who are just destitute, poor. Wa ibn sabil, and those who travel in the land, spreading the truth, spreading the upright way. Wa sa'ilina, and those who ask. Well, the riqab, and those who are captured, those upright people who are captured, or people who were captured and they became Muslims or believers. We can use wealth to go and buy those people out of slavery, or buy them out of captivity, or pay off whatever debt they incurred for the reason that they were made a captive. So those are the specific uses of money given as zakat. Someone comes to the masjid, they give you zakat, you use zakat for these specified purposes, and that specific community that we talked about is established. Its values begin to rise by virtue of the fact that the people themselves, their values have risen, and that is imparted to the very land they live on and the properties they reside in. Those values increase because people want to live in those communities now, because it's that kind of a place. It's a caring human place. So we see now the application of zakat and why it has to be done in a specified neighborhood, because that neighborhood then begins to be your Medina. The example of Prophet Muhammad, they went from Mecca to Medina. We too must go from our Mecca to our Medina. That is, from a period of Jahiliyyah, ignorance, where we live amongst all the disbelieving people, to a decision where we want to live among people who follow the upright way, and we use our zakat in those communities. In those communities for the Muslims who are there and those who are non-Muslims, but say they want to live by the neighborhood association rules. You see, if you can't make a physical move to another place, you can create a designated space, and that's your Medina. But you must go from Mecca to Medina to gain the benefits of the religion. And you can follow this way and call yourself a Muslim, or you can follow this way and call yourself a believer in Allah, and you will get the same benefit. So I'm talking now to all human beings. Use this Quran, use the example of Prophet Muhammad, as we use the example of the other prophets of God, to try and find and follow the right way. Okay, so now we have this community of people where Zakat is practiced, and we know who practices Zakat, and we know who doesn't. People who live by that, they become better human beings with practice. It may take a few years to create that community of people who have good human feeling for one another, human feeling for the helpless, human feeling for the orphan, the near of kin, the orphan, those who are traveling in the way of God. There's a specified list of people in situations where you use Zakat, where you use that money, and it transforms the community, and it transforms, the practice transforms the population. And that's our objective, to create a more human society. Now, the masjid, the place where we make prayer for the Friday prayers, begins to be a place where the religion is practiced, or the way of life called Islam is practiced. Salat and Zakat. Salat is the theory, Zakat is the practical application, the work to create this wonderful new way of life. On earth, any place on earth, and for that matter on any planet in the solar system or anywhere in the universe, same practices applied will get the same result. Now, we've begun to create a human community, and that human community now has practices its way of religion and left the masjid, moved out into the world, and the question is, how do we sustain that community? We sustain that community by the cooperative economic deeds of the people who live in it. Now you have a population, a group of people who've been working on improving themselves, and you pick from among them your business partners for your various endeavors. And now you don't worry about getting along with everybody in that population. If there's 4 or 5 families you get along with, 4 or 5 believers you get along with, you work with them and you form a sole proprietorship or partnership or a limited partnership or corporation, and you conduct your affairs. I'll take just a few minutes to talk about the applications of partnerships to truly human beings. If you have human beings and they've practiced Zakat, they've developed some morals. So you don't have to watch them quite as closely as you do people who have no morals at all. Okay? So you've got the better quality of people to work with, and you keep a healthy eye on one another, and you can correct one another when mistakes are made. So now you go into your endeavors. You work with the few people that you can work with. You don't have to get along with everybody at the mosque, at the masjid. The people you do get along with, do business with them. I can tell you for a fact, in any community of people, there will always be somebody you prefer to have dinner with, chat with, hang out with, and people that you prefer not to. And they are all Muslims, and may all be believers. Okay? So let's just relax about that part. We'll avoid vain talk. We work progressively with those people who are upright, and we know who practice the upright way. And we create our sole proprietorships. That's a business that I run, for example, by myself, or you run by yourself, a sole proprietorship, you and just your family. And it provides for your children jobs and a community space and a livelihood. Or you join with someone else, 2 or 3 or 4 people, and you form a partnership. And that partnership doesn't have to last forever. If you want to run your own business, they want to run their own business. But for the sake of your being able to get good prices, you say we'll work together under one umbrella, one partnership, and we'll operate that partnership for 6 months, a year, or maybe even just for the life of a transaction. You can get some product at an enormously good price if you cooperate together. So for the length of the time that you buy that product, redistribute it, and take your profits, that partnership may last just that long and no longer. Or if there's one of you who's particularly brilliant and effective in the marketplaces, you may make him or her the lead partner, and the rest of you are just limited partners, where you put up some money and you take a percentage of the profits based on the percentage of money you put up. You can buy jeans, a truckload of jeans you find somewhere for $15,000 or $20,000, whatever you pay for it. You share the purchase cost, you share the profits. And when the trailer is all sold out, or that product you purchased is all gone, you dissolve the partnership. You have dinner together and you celebrate your successes. So praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to God. This is the application of Zakat to practical living in the world. You distinguish yourselves from the disbelieving people. You create a community of pleasant people who care about one another. You cooperate in the ways of common sense business. Because remember, Prophet Muhammad, in addition to being a prophet, was a merchant and a trader. That's right. He did business all throughout what's called the Sharq al-Awsat, we call the Middle East, all the way up to Syria, Damascus, and Cairo, back to Mecca. He was a businessman, and he was an orphan. So let us always be tender-hearted toward those people that the Quran specifies deserve our zakat. Let us be diligent and watchful to see that zakat is delivered exactly as the Quran prescribes it. Let us be watchful and know that the practice of the religion at the masjid is done to cultivate our spiritual life, so there's no business in the masjid. You go to your marketplace and practice these things that I've just stated to you. In that marketplace, no one's admitted to enter it unless they're a person who practices salat and zakat for enough years for you to say he qualifies, she qualifies to join our business effort. Because he's an upright person who keeps up regular prayer, and he has established regular zakat, and I know him or I know her. So yes, those are the people. That's the qualification to join your business group, and now you've got the best group of people to associate with in your life. May Allah bless us all to succeed in our endeavors to be better human beings, to cultivate our humanity, and to join together and prosper and earn our share of the world and enjoy our share of the goods of the world. And may Allah protect us from the harms of the things that we seek and grant us good in this world and the next for us and our families and for the whole world society. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to talking to you again, and we very much look forward to getting your reactions to our talk today. We welcome those reactions. Thank you again and again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.